Hey everybody, Seth here with the Cabin Corner. Welcome to the last live segment that we're going to be doing today. This is going to be a Q&A video where we're going to talk about some of the things that we saw during the day here, and then also we have our vet, Bridget, along, and she's going to answer some questions pertaining to being a veterinarian and what that's like. And as you've seen before, my grandpa Tom and my dad Andy are here as well. So, Bridget, why don't you introduce yourself and let us know why did you want to become a large animal veterinarian?
My name is Bridget Griffin. I am one of the partners at Lancaster Veterinary Associates. We only do large animals. We do cows, the sheep, and goats. And the question of why I want to become a large animal veterinarian, I will say I wanted to be a veterinarian probably since I've been about 5. And the older I got and the more I started kind of working with animals, I worked at a dairy when I was in college and I fell in love with cows. So there's kind of 3 main differences between large animal veterinary medicine and small animal. And one of them is I get to work outside, which is awesome in the spring and the summer if you like the heat, and the fall when things are changing. The winter, it gets a little cold, but I get to work outside. So that's one of the main differences. Another difference is a lot of small animal clinics, they don't do emergencies. They send off, there's always emergency clinics. So, you know, if you have an emergency, you send it off. Whereas here, we're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, every holiday. If they have a problem, we come out. But one of the kind of the reason I enjoy it probably more so is that the clients, I get to see my clients at the minimum of once every 4 weeks. So if you're small animal, if you have, you know, major crises and you bring your pet in, you may get to see the client kind of more often, but otherwise you get to see him, you know, twice a year maybe. Whereas I get to know the family, I know Andy, I know, you know, you guys, the children, like it becomes more of, you know, a relationship that's just deeper than just seeing a client once every year or once a year, twice a year.
So when you come out to a farm, like you mentioned, on like a very consistent basis, and maybe Dad or Grandpa, you can answer this too, like what are some of the common things that you would do when you're visiting a farm, and maybe some procedures that you would do, or even just things that you look at when you're checking cows?
So we have routine reproductive exams every week here at this farm. So I come every week and we check to see if the cows are pregnant or not. That's probably the most routine and kind of scheduled work. We also will examine any sick cows. If there's a cow that, you know, did have a calf recently and just isn't feeling well, or there's something else going on, or the calves, anything that's sick. And that's kind of the other bulk of our work, that we have farmers that will call in the morning and say they have a cow that's sick and not eating, and, you know, we need to come out and check them. Just kind of like if you go to your doctor when you're not feeling well. So that's kind of the other bulk of our day-to-day is sick cow work and doing that. And then obviously there are emergencies that get sprinkled in. But that's my typical day. It's mostly routine pregnancy exams and then sick cow work.
Would you also say that your role is shifting towards, not totally, but becoming more of a consultant at times, rather than just, like, for me personally, I feel like just from years of working with cows, like I've learned a lot from you, from your other partners, and we can care for a lot of things ourselves.
Right.
And don't need to call for it as much.
Yeah, so with the routine check, since I am here every week and I'm here for, you know, a significant amount of time, I end up answering questions and building on, you know, things that, yes, that you can do on a regular basis that do help kind of the big picture. So we can go over protocols of vaccinating, you know, young stock, or, you know, how to account for them, and stuff that you guys talked about, I know earlier, about like giving them colostrum and some of the details of that. So that is that is, I guess, like, it's not a true consulting where I just show up to talk. We end up talking while we're here, doing the regular routine stuff. But yes, I think all of my farms use that opportunity to kind of pick our brains to know how to implement protocols in place for when we're not here, and to care for their animals better. I do think that is, I think, all the good farms and all the good clients, like, that is one thing that they do.
So obviously you work with cows mainly. Are there any other animals that you would check up on?
Sheep and goats. Yes. That's about as far as our range goes.
Out of the three, which one's your favorite?
The cows.
Yeah, the cows. That kind of leads into my next question. This is kind of for you, Grandpa, and you two as well. What's one of the best things about working with cows, and maybe one of the most challenging things about working with cows?
What are some of the best things working with cows? I think one of the greatest things that I've enjoyed is seeing new life, seeing a birth. We not only get to see births. Now, this is not something I enjoy, but something that's challenging. Sometimes we see death as well. So we get to see both ends of it.
Yeah.
Every cow has their own personality. There's no two cows alike.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of neat. I think that's kind of rewarding. You learn to know there's certain cows that are very tame, there's some that like to be scratched, there's some that don't move until you touch them, and encourage them a little bit because they like a lot of personal contact from humans. And I think Bridget could also share on that. We had one cow here that would chase her out of the pen. I mean, the cow would walk up to her and just take her head, just literally push her away. I don't know if she has bad experience with you at some point or what. They definitely are interesting animals. They're very large. They're fun to work with. They're also challenging.
They can be stubborn.
Kind of like people.
Yeah.
Bad boots. How you treat a cow is how they will respond to you.
Yeah.
The kinder you are, the more gentle you are, the better they're going to perform.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, I would say I'm in charge more or less of the overall health of the animals here on the farm, and I enjoy nursing an animal back to health and seeing them. I don't enjoy when they get sick or when there's a problem, but I enjoy the challenge of kind of working with that animal and seeing that what we do, or we do use some medicine at times when there's an issue, but seeing that animal respond to that and just feeling like what I did was the correct care to take care of the problem, it's rewarding in that sense.
Yeah.
Whether it's a baby calf or an adult cow.
Yeah.
I think what's challenging, when we go to the doctor, we can tell the doctor how we feel. How can you do that? So really you need to learn to know your animals. The same with Bridget, I'm sure you, from experience of working with multiple animals, you learn to know what the symptoms are just by looking at them.
My favorite thing about cows is how curious they are. I mean, they're curious by nature. They're cautiously curious with you. They want to come to you on their terms, but if you go towards them, they kind of want to go away because then they're fearful a little bit. But and then the challenging thing is, my job's frustrating at points when I know there's something wrong with the animal and I can't pinpoint what it is. And it's just I don't know how to help them, partly because I just don't know exactly what is wrong because they can't tell me. And I can use as many tools in my toolbox to a point, but we don't have all the technology that humans have. But
and communication.
Communication, yes. Yeah. So that's sometimes frustrating about the job. It's just knowing that an animal's sick and you try your best, but you don't know how to help her.
One question we got from people who are watching is, how many farms do you cover generally?
So our practice covers probably about a radius of 25 miles or so. I kind of say we do like a banana around the city of Lancaster. We do get outside of the county, so we do get into York County and Berks County, and Chester County. So we have, I don't know how many, probably 150 different farm clients that we cover. I mean, there's about 100,000 cows in Lancaster County, so it's about 1 for every 5 people right now.
That's a fun fact. I didn't know that.
How many veterinarians are in your practice?
So there's 5 of us in the practice, and it's a nice, size in terms of that you guys, you know all of us. It's not like a complete strangers coming out. I mean, our practice is pretty steady in terms of the last person we hired was 10 years ago, so we've all been there kind of a long time. So we don't have a lot of turnover, and I think that the clients appreciate that of, getting to know one person and not, having to get to know a new person every couple of years.
Yeah. Another question we got was, are vets present at the births?
So typically, no. So if you can imagine, there's 100,000 dairy cows. That means 100,000 of them are calving a year at least, if not more. And you can do the math of how many that would be per day. So typically, we have, they pick sires to have calving needs. So the whole goal is so that the mama cow can have a baby on her own without any assistance even from the farmer, like that, like let nature take its course, provide them a dry place, a safe place that they can, have a calf by themselves without any complication. And that is the goal. So we've taught our farmers to be able to assist in typical, some presentations, if there's a leg back or just, a head back or something like that. If they're coming backwards, the farmer can, deal with that. So most of our clients are taught how to deal with routine minor things, and we get called for the really bad emergencies that something is not right at all, and that's the ones that we see.
So I would say we would call you out maybe twice a year for our calving, unless you disagree. 2 to 3 times a year. Maybe.
So the hope is that the vet is not present at the births.
That is
Correct.
yes. The hope is that the farmer doesn't even have to be present.
Right, yeah.
That Mother Nature takes its course,
Exactly.
and the cow can have the baby on her own.
Yeah.
Without any assistance.
Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up. We're almost at 5:30. Thank you, Bridget, for being here and for chatting with us about cow health and the life of the cow, and also just being a vet in general. Dad and Grandpa, thanks for being here, and thank you all for watching. It's been a great day live streaming, and we're actually currently waiting. There's potential for another birth, but if we don't see any signs of active labor by 6 p.m., I think we're going to just call it a night. So stay tuned, but have a good night. If we don't see you again, hope you have a great rest of your week. And make sure you check out Calving Corner next Tuesday, January 19th, where we'll be doing another live stream from a different farm, and you can expect some segments that are similar to this. So have a great night.